What? How y'all doing? 2024 year in review. It's really worth doing a year in review. I mean, you've not been around at all this year. No one cares. You don't even care. In fact, you're sat there right now freaking out. I'm a little out of practice. Anyone that has sat with me in the past, all the way back, 2010, 2012, would know that the butterflies come up just before you're about to go on. You're about to stand up and read the speech, to play the whatever, to do the thing, to stream the game, to whatever it is that you do, the butterflies come up. And in my case, I'd hit the button and usually I'd be out and the butterflies and they're not going. Not gonna lie, I'm terrified. Year in review doesn't really matter to anyone other than me. This is just a nice thing to look back on, and I've been stewing about this one since the last one, since the 2023 year in review. So that might be a bit of a spoiler. The year is over. Thank you. Sanity somewhat intact. Well, I don't know about you. I mean, I've made it through alive. That was pretty much the goal. But I made it through. And I haven't completely lost it. So I'm going to take that as a win. But the year hasn't gone how I wanted it to. At all. But didn't you say, like in your last year in review and in the New Year's video, you didn't have any plans for this year? You just wanted to get through to the end. Funny, because I didn't remember that until I rewatched those things recently. I'd actually thought to myself, I'll say something funny for the end of 2024 and go, haha, my only plan is to survive from here to this time in 2025 to see in 2026. That's my only plan, nothing fancy. And I was like, oh wait, hang on a minute, that's what you said last year. It's going to be largely that's going to be the same groove. But that wasn't actually what the groove was going to be for 2024. 2024 went in the bin pretty quick and in a scary way, maybe, depending on how you look at it. For me, at least, it was kind of scary because I lost time. I felt lost, adrift, and I haven't felt this way in a very long time, if forever. This year easily hits my top 5 worst. But it started going wrong so quickly. How quickly? Well, it started going wrong, I'd say, without sounding too negative, maybe 2 weeks in. 2 weeks, mate? Really, 2 weeks? If I had to be honest with you, it was a bit earlier than 2 weeks. Earlier than 2 weeks? I'd give it 9 days. 9 days! 9 days, and you'd written off an entire year in 9 days. Actually, let's go back to that 2023 in review video. I'd written it off pretty much from New Year. This time last year, I'd written off 2024. It was just confirmed within that first 2 weeks. In fact, pretty much confirmed New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then 9 days on, 2 weeks in, we were pretty much, just scrap all of that. I'd had some things I wanted to say in the 2023 year in review, and in the New Year's video, in the 2024 coming on video, look, this is what I want to do. Nothing grandiose, but they were going to take some effort. And just sitting down in front of the camera for the year in review and the New Year's video was so difficult that I thought, if I'm gonna do anything more difficult than this, oh my god! Like, I had to fight to sit in front of a camera for 20 minutes, half an hour. Not literally fight, but it was hard. awkward, uncomfortable. And I'm thinking to myself, but I want to do this and this. And 9 days in, I'm like, you know what? This is going to be so much work. I'm going to have to fight so much to get any of this done. Just say there are no plans. Peter LaFleur it. You know, if you've got dreams, you might not reach them. But if you don't have any, you don't have to worry about it, kind of thing. And that's where 2024 went. 2023 was my gap year to get stuff in order, to be able to do things in 2024. And like I said, it went south hard. And then I just went business as usual. May rolls around and things properly hit the fan. And so what I was doing, I was just, no, okay, we'll just pack it up. I am so tired of fighting and arguing and having to defend myself over the most trivial things. I will pack up and I will call it a day. Which most people who know me would know that I'm an argumentative prick. So the idea that I'm just going to go, nah, not anymore, I'm done, is that's completely out there, man. That's a foreign concept. I would actively tell people to go out there and live their dreams and do all of the things that you want to do. Because you only got one crack at this, so it's best that you do it. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, you should be allowed to do it. Take other people's feelings into consideration. Make sure you're not hurting anyone else. Plan it out, clear it, and just go. You can do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what people say to you. You can do it if you want. Will it achieve all the way up here? Who knows? But you'll get, as long as you're getting some kind of satisfaction out of it, it's worth it. Go for it. Right? That's what I'm telling people. And I decided last year it was just easier to roll over and give up. Which sounds really, really, really bad. But as I say, by May, I'd had enough. And then June, everything just... And so I literally just packed up. I'd stopped. Thought, yeah, it was alright. Then June, packed everything up. And we went from Area 51 to the Watergate. It's a storage unit. And I just packed everything up and just put it into a unit. I'd had enough. It's not that, you know, I have spent years of my life arguing for the most trivial things. And 2024 was the year that I finally cracked and said I'd had enough. I'd given up. And it's not a great feeling. At all. When I was waking up in the morning with literally nothing, I'd binned off all projects at this point. All hobbies. Just everything was just packed up and gone. I was waking up with nothing to do. And I felt so lost. So adrift. It was almost like, you know, imagine the dithering old man kind of bumbling around. You know, you're thinking, oh, look at that, oh, who's that? Oh, that's poor old fucking Gavin. He used to work at the steel mill. He did that for 50 years and then they shut down and now look at him. He doesn't, you know, he's completely lost without that thing or a thing to do. That's how I felt. I didn't know what to do because the things that I did were not things anymore. I hadn't planned to just stop doing, but it just seemed easier to stop doing. The number of times, man, I have sat in projects, done buckets of work, only to then be told that I'm a lazy piece of shit and I do fucking nothing. If I had a quid for every time that happened, I'd be a millionaire. I could be the guy organising it. In the case, let's say it's something like this, I could be the guy organising it, recording it, editing it, mastering it, doing all the bits, and still I'd have people digging at me that I weren't doing enough. And it's just, I just couldn't be bothered to keep doing, to be told one thing and then to be torn apart for that exact same thing. Like, right, we're going to do this. This. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool. It's all set up. You know, the boundaries are there, the guidelines are there, it's all down, key points, got to do this and this and this, and you're going to do it, and then BAM! For the very thing that you agreed on, you just get, nope, not having it. And that was it. Just over and over and over again. It's like, unless I get this stuff in writing, man, I ain't doing it. I'm not wasting my time anymore. I'm just not wasting my time anymore. Even if it means I have to be the old man that his whole life was that one thing and it's now gone. I can't be bothered to fight it. I can't be bothered to argue for such trivial things. This is not what I wanted to say at all. You know that thing when you say it first time, cool. Say it second time, you probably refined it a bit. By the time you get to the third or fourth time, it's kind of falling apart. It's on shaky ground. I've probably played this in my head hundreds, thousands of times before sitting down in front of this camera. As I say, I'm feeling a little bit not great sitting down in front of this camera. Trying to relate to maybe younger folk, or like, what do you mean, like when you do a job for XYZ amount of time and you leave it and it kind of feels empty and hollow. Maybe for younger people, you might feel the same way when you leave school. Maybe. You'll probably be cheering and stuff that I've finished high school, I've got my whatever it is you get when you leave high school or whatever. It was different when I was in school. I'm an old man, things have changed, I know that. Same like, you go to school, you get your paperwork stuff, I've got my qualifications, I can go and do stuff, the world opens up to me, I go to college or university, whatever it is. But then then that kind of realization kicks in, you're like, wait, what do I do now? Oh my god, wait, what do I do? I've done this all this time. And I've hung out with these people all this time. And now it's over? That can be a weird feeling. And I don't want anyone to feel like I do at this point. To feel so deflated, so useless. You can't please everyone. It was weird because it almost felt like I'd gained a year. Some pretty not great stuff was happening from 2023 onwards. I think it was 2023 onwards. My memory is so sketchy now, which is part of what makes it so terrifying. And I was like, XYZ has happened every month for pretend 18 months. Imagine my horror when I then look back at the calendar and go, wait, it's probably only actually been a year. What happened to the last 6 months? Why did it feel like it dragged on for so much, just for so much longer? When did I lose track of time? It's extra scary for me because I don't like bringing this up. I say this every time I bring it up. I've got brain and spine damage. I've got cerebral palsy. I've had to have dementia tests through parts of my life because just in case up here ain't working properly. And so to completely lose time, such massive chunks of time, was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I've been told that, I don't look terribly old, but the inside of me, the way up here works and is processing with everything else, I'm old. Like I can't remember what the specialist said. I think it was a 2.3 times multiplier or something to that effect on my age. My age times whatever is roughly how inside here is working. And so when I started to have dementia tests, and when you realise you're having dementia tests, how terrifying that is. I'm coming into my late 80s, 90s, something like that. I think that changes every time I tell someone, but it's up there. The idea of completely losing my marbles, completely losing my mind is terrifying. All because I don't want to fight people. It's not just because I don't want to fight people, but I don't want to argue anymore. I was tired, and it just seemed like the right thing to do. And so I completely flushed the year. My confidence is through the floor. If I'm asked to do something, I get a little bit on edge. if I ask to do something and it's cleared, I'm a little bit on edge. I just want to get through 2025. I don't have any grand plans. The most up there thing this year for me was probably that I got my radio license. Something that I wanted like on and off since I was a kid. I used to play with the old electronics kits. Got my radio license, and then I did nothing with it. And even that was hard enough to just sit and do an exam, just to be able to find that slot where I can just sit and do a thing was difficult. Sitting here doing this, I'm scrambling, man. I had to scramble to do this. I've had to gap something together just to sit here and say this year sucked balls. This ain't a positive video, I get that. People come to Tinterwebs for positive, yeah, everything's great, and then people walk away going, my life sucks. Your life ain't the only one that sucks. Trust me. Trust me. Please find something, anything that you enjoy. Doesn't matter how simple it is, or how difficult it is, how completely out there it may seem, whether it'll make you rich and famous or whatever. Just as long as it's something that you enjoy, you're not hurting anyone else, you're taking everyone else's feelings into consideration whilst you do it, please just go for it. Just go for it. Even if it's, the example I always give is, if you want to be the world's greatest cheese sandwich maker. I know loads of people out there will tell you it's stupid and it's a waste of time and you shouldn't do silly things like that, it's childish or whatever, but if it's something you enjoy and you're not hurting anyone else, give it your all. Even if it doesn't look like you're getting any traction, it doesn't matter, as long as you're enjoying yourself. Eventually, other people who share your passion will find you, will see your passion and want to be around you. They'll amplify their passion and it'll be good. You'll find other people who will appreciate your thing. Because there are other people out there who appreciate your thing. I promise you. Even if folk around you don't necessarily understand how you think or feel, there will be people out there who do. So, yeah, this is not what I wanted to say at all. I did think of writing it down. I did think of making notes, but that's not my groove. Just senseless ramble for hours and hours and hours is my groove. This year has sucked. I'm glad it's over. I doubt anything is going to change next year. I'm just going to keep moving forwards. Maybe try and regain some of that fizz, some of that fight. I'm just tired. Shouldn't have to fight. That's just awfully vague. I'm not really into self-censoring or anything like that, but I don't want to throw anyone else under the bus. If it's someone else's story, it's up to them to tell. Even if it does impact me, it's not my job just to go out there and rant and vent. But the calendar's going to flip tomorrow, and all of the problems that I haven't solved today will carry on tomorrow. I wish you all the best. To all the people who didn't make it this far, sorry, you'll be missed. There's quite a few of you. But for everyone that did make it this far, keep going. Please, keep going. Cherish every day like it'll be your last. Don't give up. Keep moving forwards. Move forwards by right, not by gift. That's, by the way, that's my family motto. that is my... That's on the family crest. Move forward by right, not by gift. I guess that means I kind of broke the family motto, right? Because I stopped. She just sucked balls. It's always tomorrow. Keep going. It's incredibly vague. Made no sense. It isn't what I wanted to say. I wanted to put more jokey bits in and say random shit like I always do, but I ain't feeling it. I'm freaking the fuck out. So, hope you're all well. Also, with a bit of luck, in the next one. Well, I'll see you all in the what are you going to do in 2025 thing. But it'll probably just be, I want to get through 2025. See ya.